Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this live. My name is Holly Matthews, and I am a self-development coach. I am a former TV actress. I am what else am I? An NLP practitioner, a hypnotherapist now. That's a new thing. And I'm the founder of the Happy Me Project, which is online courses, self-study courses, workshops, a podcast that goes live every Thursday and all the places that you know and love. And what else is it? I don't know. It's loads of stuff. A Facebook group, a community, all of that stuff. Good morning, Anupa. And if you are following me on YouTube or Twitter or my Facebook page, then make sure that you give me a thumbs or a like or subscribe and all of that stuff, so you will get notified when I post stuff, and hopefully I can indoctrinate your mind to feeling more happy and less crappy, because that is my job. Anupa says, you're amazing. That's what you are. That's so gorgeous, Anupa. Thank you so much. What a lovely thing to say this time on a Monday morning. So today's topic is stepping into your brave, and we're going to delve right into this today. In the UK, we have seen, I know not everybody is from the UK, but in the UK, we are going to see a lessening, is that right? Is that the correct word? Less restrictions than we have seen the coronavirus, says me, who is currently in isolation because Brooke has the COVID. She's absolutely fine. We're all fine. It's hot. Everybody's a little lethargic anyway, but everybody's been fine. So good knowledge for those of you who are have health anxieties and worries about it and haven't yet had it. We're absolutely fine, and I think most people will be. So just to alleviate anybody's worries. And Anupa says, Mia and Aidan are listening too. I've warned them about, I may believe you. I have just seen, so those of you that are new to listening to me, I do sometimes swear. I say sometimes, I mean always. At some point, I really try to not do it in the morning. But sometimes, guys, it just needs a bit of flowery, colourful language. I just noticed today, I did a lovely podcast interview the other day, and there was a link to it, a little clip of it put out on Instagram today, and it said on it, disclaimer, there will be swearing. And I wrote it down today. I'm definitely getting a top. I will do a top that just says disclaimer, there will be swearing. That's hilarious. It made me laugh. So this morning we are talking about stepping into our brave, because I know that there will be some of you that will be feeling a little less than brave this morning, and that's okay. And let's delve into it. But before we do that, good morning to everybody on Facebook. I can't see everybody who it is. It just tells me it's a Facebook user, so I'm not being rude if I can't see you. Hi, Bex. I can see Bex on Periscope there as well. I don't know how you know how this works, but you're on here and I can see your comments. So you've got it sussed. You've got it sussed. So before we go any further, let me know in the comments, wherever you are, whatever platform you are on, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling? And if you're watching this on a replay somewhere, still let me know. How are you feeling? 1 to a 10. That's not 10, that's 5. 1 to a 10. 1 being rubbish, 10, I feel amazing. And then everywhere in between. And for those of you that saw me yesterday, I did a live on Instagram yesterday. And did I do a live on Instagram, or was it in the group? I don't know. I did a live somewhere yesterday. But I wasn't feeling amazing yesterday. I was feeling a bit meh. That is the description of it. I just wasn't feeling amazing. And I was at a 5 yesterday, which is really low for me. My average is a 8 or a 9 solidly. And it takes a lot for me to drop down that low. I just didn't feel right yesterday. And I share it with you guys because I want you always to know that no matter where you are in your personal development journey, you're always going to have days when you just don't feel great, and that's okay. Laurie says, good morning, lovely. It's some holidays again. Woo woo. Sun is shining, happy days. I love that. Lovely positivity this morning, Laurie. And Anupa says, getting better after a tough fortnight. You're a 7. That's good. Holiday washing done, and me and the kids are chilling. Perfect. And we've got a 9 as well. I can't see who that is, but happy to be back. I need to put more effort in during these live chats. Well, they are going to be frequent this week. So I don't know if anybody saw, I posted, it was quite late last night. So you might not have seen it, but I posted to say that I'm going to go live for the next 9 days, 10 days, 9 days, I think. While I'm in isolation, I thought I would utilize that time to really show up as best I can for you guys as well, and just delve in a little further. So I'm going to be in different places. I'm going to be, majority of the time I will be in the Facebook group. So if you're not in the Facebook group, join the Facebook group. There will be links below to go on this. It's iamhollymatthews.com/all my stuff. You will get all my links on there. But I will be doing some Instagram. I have a special guest on Instagram on Sunday. And so I will be going on YouTube and Periscope as well, but not as frequent as the group. And we will be talking about all kinds of stuff this week. I haven't got them all nailed in. So if you have topics that you want me to cover, chuck them at me, because I could put them in. And Anoop says, I saw it on Instagram stories, hardcore. We're going for the hardcore. We can do it. I believe in us. We can do this. So yeah, and Anupa said that 5 is really low for me. It is. And just for clarity, I feel good today. I would say I'm a good 8. I'm a strong 8 today. And I'm fairly confident that after this live, I will be a 9. So that's it. And that's all about bounce back, right? Claire says, good morning. Good morning, lovely. I'm so glad that you're here. And Claire says she needs it today. So that's important that you are. And my adorable spoon. So yesterday when I was on the live, I called my daughter a spoon. She was being a bit of a spoon. They are all right this morning. They have already done a dance for me. And what else have they done? Fought each other, pulled each other's hair. And they're now in the front room arguing about who's watching what. Standard. Everybody's fine. Yes, I am good. Thank you, Michelle. So let's delve into our topic this morning. We're talking about stepping into your brave. How brave do you see yourself as? Because that's an interesting thing, isn't it? Do you describe yourself as do you describe yourself as a courageous person? Do you know, sometimes I get so distracted by the comments, guys. I'm like, you can see me just zoning out, can't you? Like, what's going on over there? I'm good, everybody. And it is definitely a sign that the kids are well, Michelle. So do you describe would you describe yourself as a courageous person? I think we often put tags on ourselves, don't we? I am this kind of person. I'm not this kind of person. And we hold tight onto those things sometimes unnecessarily, because just like confidence, just like lots of stuff, actually, courageousness, bravery is actually a skill that can be learned. And although there is scientifically a teeny little drop of genetics in there, as there always is, we can't control our genetics. It is what it is, right? But we can control the other stuff. And there's a huge chunk of how brave we are. It's just a skill to be learned and practiced. And Anupa says, I'm getting more brave. I think when you are thrown out of your comfort zone, you have to. Yeah. I think that there's often, especially when big stuff happens in your life, sometimes it feels, there's almost that feeling of you've been pushed out into the lake and you got to sink or swim, right? You've got to, and if you can't swim, you better goddamn learn quickly. And I think that's us being forced out of our comfort zone a little bit. When that happens, you may find, I think most of us do, that you tap into a bravery, a resource of bravery that you didn't know you had. And you have to do it. There's a kind of forced bravery there. There's also the learned bravery, which we'll talk about today. And someone else is saying, when I look forward, I would say I'm not really brave. However, when I look back, I say, yes, I am. Now, that's an interesting discovery, isn't it? So when you look back, you can see, actually, there's been loads of bravery. Now, that's actually a really important discovery, because if you can see that in the past you have been brave, there are definitely factual times when you've stepped up, then you have that within you, and we can retune into that to use going forward. Because bravery and confidence and how brave we feel can get knocked a bit, can't it? We can do something where we step right out of our comfort zone and then we get knocked down a little bit, or we fail, or something doesn't go to plan, and we might retreat, almost like when you see the tortoise just stick his head out of its shell, and then we're like that back in, aren't we? We're going to be brave for a bit, and then we failed and something went wrong, and we just retreat back in, and then we don't feel so brave while we're hiding a little bit. But we can build this back up as well. Kat is saying, is resilience the same as bravery? Not quite similar, but not quite the same. So resilience, I guess, Bravery is the action, the step to take, to keep going, to step out. Sorry, not to keep going, to step out and to take that action. Resilience is more the keeping going, the bounce back, the keep getting back up. They're definitely interlinked within each other. And I think if you can cultivate a strong resilience, you just sometimes need the bravery to push you out, to keep going, to keep doing things. Otherwise, it would be too easy to be very resilient and just keeping going, but keeping going in a very small space. So I think the bravery is the bit that steps you out. The catalyst for rising, somebody's saying on Periscope there, SJ Reflex Therapy, saying that, yeah, the catalyst for rising, absolutely. When you just go, holy shit, I've swore already. Remember what I said? Disclaimer, she will swear. And Marie says, I was on an amazing course for 6 weeks and it just finished on Thursday. And that was definitely out of my comfort zone. Brilliant. How brave. Brilliant. And Bex is saying, I can't help. Can I help you find the comments? I'm a bit lost. The comments might not be on Periscope as such. I've never actually watched it on Periscope. So I can see the comments because I'm streaming from StreamYard. So I don't know how you can see it, unfortunately, Bex. I think if you are in the group, in the Facebook group, I'm not sure. I think you are. Are you in the Facebook group? I'm not sure. You will be able to see it on there, but I'm not sure if you can see the other people's comments. Sorry, my lovely. And Louise says, I hope me and the girls are okay. We are. And welcome to somebody on Facebook. I can't see who you are. So first of all, it's acknowledging, do you see yourself as a brave person? Do you identify as somebody that is brave? Or currently, in this current moment, are you unsure about that? And that's okay. You don't have to necessarily have the answer. We're pondering things. Then when we are going to do something, so let's say, I'm using the example of we are stepping back out into the world. We've been easing ourselves back into that. From today, restrictions are being dropped again. I don't know what that means, quite honestly, but whatever, that's happening. And for some people, that has brought with it some fears. So an important step in being courageous and fearless, we'll never really be fearless, guys, just so you know, just a caveat there. But the fearless feeling, right, of just doing the thing or just going out and stepping forward. First of all, we have to acknowledge what our fears are. Hi, Bridie on Facebook. Lovely to see you, gorgeous girl. So first of all, it's acknowledging. You see, people think when we have a fear about something, the natural state would be, I'm going to ignore that fear. I'm just going to push past it. I'm going to pretend it's not there. I'm not going to acknowledge its existence. I'm just going to keep going. And we kind of think that if we avoid it, somehow we'll just push through it. And you might a little bit push through things without acknowledging things, but long term, it just doesn't ring true. We don't really push us out unless we go, like, this is what's happening. I am feeling this kind of fear about this thing. So let's say it's stepping back out into the world and you acknowledge, I am fearful of being in crowds. I feel fearful of being in crowds. I have developed this fear during the coronavirus. Wasn't that great with it before. Now I'm scared. I've just got this uneasy feeling and I just don't want to be in crowds. I know that that's something for some people. I've heard it from clients. I've heard it from you guys on here. And to be honest, I wouldn't say I'm fearful in crowds, but I'm 5'1". So I never really love being that small borrower in a crowd. It's not an amazing feeling. So I can understand it. Acknowledging whatever the fear is that you're feeling, it doesn't have to be such a bold, big one like that. It could be that you're fearful of sending an email, you're fearful of making a phone call. That's a big one, actually. I did a whole YouTube video on making a phone call because so many of my clients didn't like making important phone calls. They were scared. It made them really nervous. Actually, I say important. Sometimes it was like ordering a pizza. Felt nerve-wracking. Does anybody else feel that? But whatever the fear is, acknowledge what that is. Okay, Veronica says it's almost 2 years since I lost my husband and now working on me. Working through the fear of being okay with moving forward and being happy for myself. That's a big one, Veronica. That is a big one. And next week, it will be 4 years for me since my husband died. And so I definitely have an understanding of that. And it is fearful. It's fearful when you have to do things as a 1 and not a 2, right? Fearful that you are making the wrong choices without that person to bounce it off. It's really brave, Veronica. And Kat says, I feel like I don't want to go to work anymore after working all year so hard to keep safe at work. And now look, done a complete U-turn in the feelings. That's interesting, isn't it? Because that was definitely your safe space, Kat, wasn't it? When we spoke at the beginning of the year, that felt like your safe space. Acknowledging that is key. Then what? Then we have to go, what next? Morning, Stephen, as well. And Kat says, yeah, I don't make phone calls like at all. Yeah, it's a thing that we need to learn, isn't it? And so the next thing is, when it comes to being brave, again, sometimes we think that we've just got to jump right in, and without any, like, we just got to, have this moment, or we're going to have this moment of boldness, this moment of bravery where we're like, yeah, I'm going to do the thing, woo. And actually that rarely happens. And we don't have to be brave without any tools. We can prepare, okay? So preparation can really alleviate some of those fears, okay? Whatever those fears are, whether it's making a phone call, whether it's going back out into the world, whether it's like Veronica, a bigger sort of all-encompassing thing of stepping out forward into your life. That's brave. You can prepare in many ways. Let's say it's making a phone call, right? Let's say it's a real specific fear. There are things that you can do to prepare. You could take notes, okay? You could know what potentially the person is going to say. You could, you could practice the phone call. You could have you could talk to somebody about what you're going to say on the phone call. You can write a goddamn script if you want. You can actually prepare. Good morning, Sean. Sean says, I need this. I'm starting my detox. You're doing a detox today. And I'm glad that you are here, feeling brave about your detox. I don't know what your detox looks like. Kat says, yeah, it's crazy. I don't have a safe space anymore. Well, I think we need to help you create one then. We need to help you create that, because there is the space that you feel safe. I'm sure of it. Even if that safe space is just within you and you create that inside you. And that comes down to the resilience and the bravery that we're talking about. So preparing where possible, all the P's, prepare where possible. So thinking about your specific situation right now, and perhaps there are times over the next week where you are, where you're going to have to tap into your bravery, where you're going to feel a little uneasy, where you're going to feel a little fearful. What can you do in advance to prepare for that? So let me give you the example. I have a workshop coming up. For those of you that don't know, it's in Coventry, where I live, keeping it close, in the middle of England, and you are all invited to come. There will be a link below this. I am hollymatthews.com/all-my-stuff. Click a link on there. It'll take you to the Eventbrite. That is happening on Saturday, the 14th of August. We're going to be together for 4 hours. And I know that there are some of you that have heard me already say this, and you've had that pull, I want to do it. And then you've thought, oh my God, but I'd be too scared. I'd be too scared to talk to Holly. I'd be too scared to travel. I'd be too scared to be in a group, even though the group's not going to be big. Let me put that out there. I'd be too scared. I won't know what to say. I don't want to talk. All of those things. And I know that because I have done these workshops many times. I've done 16 workshops before this one. And at each and every workshop, I have more than one person that will message me and go, I'm shitting myself. I will have at least one person that will have a panic attack in wherever I am beforehand and will message me to say so. You're not alone in those fears. And so one of the most important steps I always say to people before, once they've had that pull, if you've had that pull to come to my workshop and you've just felt the fear, get your ticket or we work it out and we prepare. And the things that I like to do for people are things like this. I film where I am. So I'm going to send out a video to everybody beforehand to show them what it looks like as you come into the building, what it looks like as you go into the room, what the room's going to look like, where the toilets will be, where the parking will be, how much the parking will be. We can control all of that stuff, right? We can control I can give you that information. You can also then tell me, okay, Holly, I feel really panicky. And even sometimes just the act of doing that is helpful, right? And say it, and so somebody else knows. You could say, Holly, I'm a person that does have panic attacks and I want a way to get out. So I could say, well, how about you sit by the door? And then you know that if you need to, and I'll know, and nobody else needs to know, that you just might need to go outside for a minute. That's okay. Maybe you are a person that needs to come early and you need to sit with me beforehand just to chill in the room. Cool. Maybe you're a person that wants to sit at the back of the room. You don't want to talk to anybody and you want to sit quietly. all of these things are things that we can both control and prepare for. I can give you the information that you need. And that is really important for me, because when I hold a workshop, for some of you that are coming to the workshop, just the act of coming to the workshop is a win. And you might sit there in pure silence. And I've had people do that. Absolutely. Okay. I have had I've had people who have come and barely spoken to me because they were so frightened, and I hold no space of judgment in my mind for that, because those people that have come and done that, all I see is a shining light of absolute fucking bravery, because you left your house that morning scared. Some of them will tell me they couldn't sleep for the week before because they were so nervous about it. And how brave is that to then still do the thing? So we can prepare for those things. I'm just going to read the comments because I'm missing some of the comments. Thank you for the lovely comment, Sean. Joy says, morning all, I really need this today. Me feeling down and invisible. Oh, invisible's the worst, Joy. I'm going to write invisible down because I might do a topic on that, because that's an awful feeling. Attitude today, which is low for you. You're normally much higher, aren't you? 8 or a 9. So Joy, I'm glad that you're here. We're talking about bravery today, Joy. Maybe that can help a little. Michelle says, for anyone not sure, I've been to a Holly workshop and it was fantastic. So worth being brave for. Oh, I'm so glad that you think that, Michelle. Just having a look. And Joy says, I have attended one of Holly's workshops and it is amazing. No pressure on anyone. That's the main thing for me. Thank you so much, Joy. And it really is. I don't want it to be. You can't take in anything, right? You can't take in anything if you're sat there going or worrying that I'm going to make you stand up. Horrible feeling. And even as somebody, I'm a confident person. You know that. I'm a confident person, and I can talk. I'm not uncomfortable. But if I was sat, in a space where it felt quite vulnerable, I wouldn't want to necessarily stand up and talk about my life. I wouldn't necessarily want to. It's, so I get it 100%. Kat says, I remember my first workshop with you. I had to practice drive a few times, but that's brilliant. Once I was there, I was wondering what all the worry was about. Even sitting by myself, I didn't care. Go, guys. If I lived in Coventry, I'd be going. Thank you so much, Kat. And Kat's just perfectly modeled what I'm talking about. She prepared by driving to the venue. And I think sometimes we think in our minds that that's over the top, or we think, oh God, like nobody else needs to do that. Nobody else needs to drive to the venue to practice. Nobody else is worried. Nobody else needs to talk out the phone conversation before they have it. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Loads of people do. Loads of us do. I do that. I will do that. I have such a thing about timings. And you'll know that's the one anxiety that stays with me more than any other anxiety. And that is not wanting to be late for something. And people around me will know I'm not very good at estimating how long things take. And I've learned that that's probably to do with having ADHD. I didn't know that was a thing, that it's now or never. And it makes sense in my life. And because of being an actress for many, many years, you can't be late on set, guys. It doesn't happen. So I would be really anxious about being late because I wasn't very good at recognizing how long something took. I now time everything. So now I do know this takes me this long to do it. I put alarms on everything. I make space for that. But I would, I really have to think about timings and stuff like that. So why was I on that there? Oh, anxiety. So practicing and knowing how long something takes me to get to is really important for me. And I would often say if I was going to an audition, I didn't want to be late for the audition, I'd be there an hour early because I just needed to be there. And I would go to the audition space, just like Kat did. I would go and I would look around, I would check it out, and then I would go and sit in a coffee shop and chill out for a bit. There is no shame in that. There is no judgment. It's helpful. If you know something about yourself, if you get a clue about yourself, I am a person who feels anxious about going to events. I'm a person that feels anxious about making phone calls. I'm a person that feels anxious about X, Y, and Z. You have those clues about yourself. Okay, what next? What do you need? And this is a really important thing to note. So for those of you, just going back to the workshop, for those of you who are on the cusp and you want to come along to the workshop in Coventry, get your tickets, get booked. And if there's anything that I can do that can facilitate in any way, let me know. And that also includes things like disabilities as well. So I have had people who have come and who've been autistic. We've had somebody who was deaf that came. Everyone other disabilities probably that I didn't know about, probably lots of invisible ones I didn't know, but the ones that have told me, I have tried to I've asked them, how can I make it easier for you? How can I make it easier for you to be there? And it was interesting, actually, the lovely lady that came who was autistic. I think we've had a couple of people who were autistic, actually. I know we have. But the one lady who told me beforehand, and I asked her, is there anything I can do to make this easier for you? Is there anything that would make your life easier? And she said she'd never been asked that before. Which surprised me. She said, I've never been asked that before at something. That's so lovely. And then told me some things I could do. So we can always find solutions to things, guys. And someone's just saying that I practice every driving route. I was always the passenger before Paul died. So now I have to be brave driving, but planning and knowing things like where to park really helps. We all do it, Kat. Absolutely. Exactly. We all do it. And it's really helped. And I think it's definitely a thing when you've had a partner who's died, to suddenly take on a role that you didn't have before. That's brave, and it's different, and it's not always easy. So we've got, in our stepping into brave, we've got acknowledge your fears, acknowledge what they are, be specific, name them. And you might want to get them out, as in write them down, write them on a piece of paper, or speaking them to other people, because actually by doing that, you dampen the flames of them. When we say, I feel anxious about, I feel fearful about, and we're specific, saying it out loud can just in the moment make it slightly less. And the more we offload those things, the better. What else have I put in it? You can also create a worry box or a fear box. That's something we've been practicing in our house, having a worry box in the day, and we write down throughout the day if you've had any worries and it's sprung up, right? Rather than just going, just get back down there and just shut up, worry, I'm not going to hear it, right? Rather than doing that, writing it on a piece of paper. And this is not about ruminating over the worry. You're going to put it in the box, and then you're going to create space in your home. Perhaps if you've got someone that you live with, you can share this. Or if you don't live with anybody, then you can definitely partner up with people in my group, in the Happy Me Project Facebook group, because there will be people that will want to do this as well. And all you do is go, right, I need space. I need to give space to these worries. I need to get them out. And so what we've been doing is we just talk through them. We unfold the worry and go, this was a worry that I've had today. And then we've got, okay, I was worried about, so mine, what was mine yesterday? Let me think. A worry from yesterday was, what was one of my worries? That I wouldn't get something finished on time, a bit of work finished on time. And I said that to Brooke, and my oldest, Tex wasn't involved in it last night, but so I told it to Brooke, and even though she's 10, she said, Mom, what do you mean? You always get stuff sorted, you always work it out. And even just that little well, you can do it from somebody else actually made me go, yeah, of course I can. Of course I can. And so just offloading it, and then Brooke shared her worries with me, and it just dampens the flame. So give space to this stuff. You don't have to sit with it. If you can create a box or a notepad or a journal where you get it out, it doesn't mean you have to sit mulling over it like some kind of awful negative, I don't know the word I'm looking for. Anyway, you don't have to mull over it and just enjoy it like a novel. But what you do have to do is to get it out of your head. Okay, the last thing is to set milestones. And I think we've already covered this a little bit, but to set milestones to get to where you want to get to. So whatever your thing is that you're working towards, let's say you want to start a business, you want to get a new job, you want to have a new relationship. It doesn't have to be that you do the last step first, that you do the big thing first. You have to set milestones for yourself. So let's say it's, what did I use an example? Let's say it is speaking at your sister's wedding, and you've got to do a speech, and you're terrified. It makes your knees knock. And so what milestones could you set yourself? Perhaps the first step is just writing out what you want to say, and that's a milestone. Perhaps the next step is you practice on your own. Perhaps the next step is you film yourself on your phone and you see what it sounds like, or you record it and listen to it. Perhaps the next step is that you do it to one person. one trusted friend with your eyes closed, maybe the next time your eyes open. But you set these milestones for yourself and you take the pressure off that you have to do it now. If it's going back out into the world and doing more things, I've said this time and time again, but give yourself space. It's been 18 months to longer of absolute fear about being around other people. It is not surprising that some of you will feel worried about the next steps, okay? And what else? I'm just going to check my little notes. If I'm looking down there, I have to check my notes sometimes. Finding role models as well in terms of bravery and courage. Looking for people, whether they're on the internet or people that you know in real life, people who model a brave behavior, people who you see going for life. People who you see and they go, do you know what? They do some stuff. Like they're giving it a shot. They're giving it a shot. Whether they're succeeding or not is irrelevant. But people who you look to and you go, do you know what? That person is living some life. And look into those people and just not sitting in a space of comparison. Fuck that. That doesn't help anybody. But look into them to go, if that person can do this, then it means that it is possible. And that it can be learned, because I'm not of the belief that anybody is special or we're all equally special. I'm not special. I'm not. I get up every day and I have the same fears as you guys, and we just try. And some days we don't get it right and some days we do, and that's okay. But finding some role models. Remember as well that visualizing is very good for helping your bravery as well. Visualizing is closing your eyes and imagining doing something before you do that thing. That's it. Thank you so much, Marie, who says I'm a role model. It's nice of you. Thank you. So imagining whatever it is you want to do, Marie, over the next week, that you need to tap into your brave. Close your eyes and give some space to just imagining it. Walking around, how will you feel in that body, that brave body? What will you see? What will you feel? All of those things, what will you hear? How will you show up? See yourself being that brave person. Practice in your mind first, because you actually create pathways in your brain to make that a reality when you do that. So guys, I'm going to finish up now. I hope you can all hear me and see me okay. I think that was a little dip off in the at the end there. But for those of you that this is the first time that you've done a live with me or you're watching on the replay, do let me know in the comments that you've been here. Let me know your thoughts on bravery. I am going to be on BBC Radio today at 5:40, BBC Radio CW, Coventry and Warwickshire. I am going to be on at some point, Friday night or Saturday night, I'm going to be interviewed on GB News, which is an interesting one for me. I will let you know they're interviewing me about my story. So I will share that link with you so you can watch that as well, because hopefully that will be a good one. And I'll be able to share what got me to this point. I'm sure many of you know my story, but you never know what I'm going to say on this kind of stuff. It all comes out. And I look forward to seeing lots of you get your tickets for the workshop. And also a note to know that in the background, I am bubbling away on my membership, which is going to be coming soon, and you're going to love it. It's going to be great, and you guys are my people, so I want you in it. I will speak to you all very, very soon. Thank you so much, Marie. She says that these lives help so much. There's going to be lots of live this week, so make sure you are in the Facebook group and make sure you are checking out where those lives are going to be this week. I'll be back on tomorrow, and I will be in the Facebook group tomorrow at 10 a.m. I will speak to you all very soon. Peace.